Hey guys, what's going on? StormRider36 here with another GTA 5 commentary. And today's subject is just going to be about time. Now, what is time? Time is just how we measure how long it takes for us to rotate on our axis or how long it takes for us to revolve around the sun. Really, it just measures how long a day is and how long a year is. Now, historically, we've had different ways of measuring time. There's clocks that we all have now, and we all know it. But then, what was there before clocks? There were sundials, where based on the shadow the sun made on this little piece of stone, or maybe just you standing there, maybe you just determined it by your shadow that you're a sundial then. But then it measures the time by the shadow. Well, before they thought about the sundial. Well, then they just looked up in the sky and saw the position. If it was coming up, it was morning. If it was above them, it was day. And if it was going down, it was dusk. And then when it wasn't there, of course, it was nighttime. Now, what about before people were around? Was there time? Yes, of course there was. Time has always been in existence. Time has been around since the creation of the universe. Now, I'm not going to go into how the universe was created because we don't know for sure because it's impossible to track. But it's always been there. It's just history hasn't had it recorded because history itself is recorded. There's nothing before, there's nothing after, because history is now. We're making history as we go along. Everything that people do now is history a second later because it's documented in some way or another. For example, whenever you watch a video, it's a documentation of what somebody did. Unless it's a live stream, then it's what they are doing. But otherwise, you're doing all right. You know, it's history. So where did time come from, the time that we know? Well, people actually made the time that we know. They made it actually for the railroads to standardize business and to standardize travel. Because noon in New York City isn't going to be noon in Denver, Colorado. Why? Because the sun's not in the same position above Denver as it would be above New York City because of the way the world rotates. Now, we made 24 time zones and started from England because the English were the people who made it, because it was most important to them. Now, why? Why did they make it? Well, because it'll take longer for travel if time is equal around the world. So it would take, instead of you getting to like Arizona from New York, and to you on the clock it says like 2 hours, 3 hours. Actually, if we didn't have the time zones, it would be 5 hours or something along those lines. Because the time wouldn't change around the world; it would be the same time everywhere, and then it would just be more difficult for people to travel and for people to do business because it'll be dark some places, and they'll have to be up, so people would have to be awake pretty much all night. But to them, it would be the daytime because to everyone else, it's the daytime. Which also imposes the question, who would have the correct time? Like, what area would all the time be based off of? And that would cause a whole nother debate, and it would just cause problems. Now, why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about time? Why is it important? All that good stuff. Why am I wasting my time to talk about time? Well, you have more time than you think, but a lot of people feel like time isn't enough. And that's one thing I'm trying to get across here, is that you actually have a lot more time than you think. I just got out of high school. I have so much more time on my hands than I ever have before. Because in high school, all you do is you go to school, you come home, you sit around and wait. You know, maybe you have a doctor's appointment, maybe you have practice for a sport. You do something, then you go to bed, then you get up again and go to school again. And then the weekend rolls along and you're like, oh, I only have 2 days off. Better use them, so you try to sleep as little as possible, which actually isn't a good thing. And your free time expands as you get older. So when you're at your youngest, your free time is very minimal because you're busy, your parents are telling you what to do, you're not making your own decisions. But as you get older, high school, you can decide what you want to do after school, or even before school if you're a morning person. But as soon as you get to college, all the time that isn't class is your own. You can do with it what you want. Now, if you have to work, that's what you have to do. But maybe you don't work, like me. I don't work because I'm a student, and I have to fill my free time with things I like to do. Some people complain about the things that they don't like to do. I complain about them, and then you kind of procrastinate and you kind of stop, and you're like, I don't really want to do this. Well, what you should do is you should just get it over with as soon as possible. Just get the bad things over with quickly. Unless they're important, then you take your time, you do well on it, but you at least get it done. And the good things, take your time. It doesn't matter how long you take on the things that you like to do. Like on video games, I can spend as much time as I want on them because I like to do them. Maybe you like to read. Read as long as you want until you get bored or something. It doesn't matter. You could... What else do people like to do a lot? Hiking. There's outdoor stuff. You go hiking and just go for like a 8-hour hike. If that's what you want to do, prolong it. Do it as long as you can. As long as you have time to do it. Because when those things that you have to do that you don't want to do come around, at least then you've done something that you like, and you can get on with your time. And so you can do it knowing that I don't have to worry about the bad things, or I don't have to worry about not having enough time to do the good things because I've already done them. And really, some people actually live with those regrets. Like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. You can't live in the past because you can't change it. What you've decided to do doesn't affect what you're doing now. So you could have maybe broken up with this person, and now you're sad about it. Well, you can't change the fact that you broke up with them. So it's all about the healing process in that aspect. It's not really a good example because, you know, not everybody breaks up with people. Maybe they're the one that gets broken up with. Which, if you're the one that gets broken up with, you can't change the fact that they broke up with you. So you got to make your time your own now. Whatever time you were spending with them, don't worry about what they're doing or what anyone else thinks about. Just do what you want to do. Now, you can't change the past, but that also correlates that you can't fully predict the future. Now, you can kind of guess what's going to happen, but in reality, 100% accuracy with what's going to happen isn't possible. You're not going to be able to do it. Because the future is changing constantly. No matter what you do, it'll never be the same as the possible outcome. And there's hundreds of possible outcomes for every decision you make. The thing is that you don't want to think about the outcome. You want to think about how it's going to affect you right now, or if it's a good or bad decision based on how it's going to make others feel and how it's going to make you feel. Because life is always open to change. With time is going to come change always. All the time. It's impossible to hide from change. You might not like it, but you're going to have to change over time. And then these changes, they might be good, they might be bad. Some people, maturing is a change. I personally am very immature for my age, so I'm still changing because I still have to mature. Now, some people maybe think that they're great the way they are and they don't want to change. Well, that's great for them, really. But eventually you're going to have to change. Something about you is going to change. You're going to either stop liking to do something because you get bored of it, maybe, or you're going to stop doing something maybe because it's not something your age group does. And that's going to force you to change, which then you're going to change. There's no stopping it. One of my favorite quotes I like to think about all the time is, "The past is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present." That's the way I like to live, just because, you know, it's easy to understand. You know, you can't change what happened yesterday. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so live today as you're living today. And that's really how I've changed my time use since I graduated high school. High school, really, you're so scheduled and so time constrained. I don't know if that's a word. I wasn't very good at English. But you're very constrained. You have dedicated 8 hours a day to school, plus however long it takes you to get ready for school. So that's all dedicated already. You can't get it back. Then you have however many hours you sleep. How many does that leave you? Well, most people get 9 hours of sleep is healthy. And then there's 8 hours of school. 17 hours. How many hours in a day? There's 24. You got 7 hours of personal time, and it might not all be all 7 hours. That's like a minimum. Now, if you're not in high school, you have more than that. This is just really for high schoolers and for people in school. But maybe you have a job, and maybe you sleep 9 hours like a healthy person, and maybe you work. Let's see. Most jobs are 9 to 5. Let's think about it that way. I don't know exactly how many hours that is, and I don't feel like doing math right now. But that's most of your day. You're going to have to face it. It is most of your day. And then you're sleeping the other part of it. So you probably only have 7 hours to yourself. Now, it's not a bad thing because you need to work. You need to have money. But those 7 hours are extremely important. Now, what you do with them, you might have appointments. You might have chores. You might have responsibilities. You might have to take care of a pet. The whole thing is that you need to fill that time with stuff you want to do, or if it's stuff you don't want to do but you have to do, you need to make sure it's done as efficiently and as quickly as possible. Because then you have more time to do what you want, and then your life, the quality of life for you will increase. You'll be able to just say that you had a good time. Oh, I didn't really like doing it, but at least I did it quickly, and at least it got done. You know. Something that's really relatable for everybody is like a homework or a project. You know, in high school, I used to procrastinate until the very night before, and then I would be up late, or I'd be spending the entire day doing the project or writing the essay. Senior year, I finally started actually doing it early and getting started early, and it was so easy, and so I got a lot of good grades because I didn't have to rush. I could do it efficiently, and it just seems like it took a lot less time because maybe I had more time to plan, or maybe I didn't feel as rushed. I don't know. But it just felt good. It felt right. It felt like that's the way you're supposed to manage your time. And that's why I'm talking about this. Because some people don't do that. Some people don't figure that out. So it's important to actually figure out how to spend your time and how to make it the best that you can make it. Because you're not always going to want to do stuff. It's not going to happen. Because everybody's got differing opinions. If you want to do something, but maybe your parents are saying, no, we're going to church, or no, we have a family reunion, you might not want to do that stuff. You're going to have to, because family's important, and spending time with other people is important. But, you know, after that, maybe you set aside some time to do what you want to do. Play video games, read, watch a movie, take a nap if you really like sleeping. I mean, who doesn't like sleep? And it's all about using your time as efficiently and as wisely as you can. Because anxiety and procrastination really waste your time. Anxiety is a fear of doing something. So when you're afraid of doing something, you think about it. You overthink it, and then you don't do it. You know? For example, maybe you have a date, but then you get really anxious about it. So then you think about it all day, wasting your time just thinking, not doing really anything you enjoy. You're wasting your time. Maybe you have anxiety about a presentation in school, so maybe you are overthinking it while maybe there's a movie going on in a class. I know from high school, movies were awesome, so you would always want to just enjoy that. But if I had a presentation afterwards, I wouldn't really be enjoying it. I would be worrying about the presentation. And you can't live like that, because then you're wasting your time thinking about the future, which you can't really change. You're going to have to present no matter what. And really, if you just get it over with and you just do it as best you can, if it's a bad thing done quickly and you're good, you don't need to worry about it. Procrastination, on the other hand, is just laziness. I mean, I'm sorry. If you procrastinate a lot, you're lazy. I procrastinate. I'm lazy. Like, it's just something. Like, it's just the way it is. But procrastination, maybe you're procrastinating because you're anxious. That's always a possibility. But you're still being lazy. And the whole thing is to use your time wisely. To be honest, I love to lay around. I love to lay in bed and just watch YouTube videos and play video games. It's awesome. That's how I like to spend my time. To me, though, that's not being lazy. To me, that's doing what I like to do. Now, to my parents, sometimes it's like, you didn't get out of bed today? No. They think I'm being lazy or something's wrong or I don't feel well or something like that. That's not really the point. The point is that I did what I wanted to do. And it's just to do stuff earlier to ease your stress. If you're stressed out about how much homework you have and then you have practice and everything, maybe during school, maybe during lunch, you start your homework. Maybe if you have a study hall period, you do it then. Because I know my high school, in study hall, you could really not get anything done because everybody was talking, you know, on their phones, having a good time because, you know, it's kind of like a second lunch, really, because you can just do whatever you want. Well, not whatever you want. It's still school. You still can't just be a crazy person. And because stress shortens time. The more you stress about something, the faster it seems to come. So if you have to present ninth period and you stress about it all day, it's going to come so quick. But on the other hand, maybe you're not first in the class. Then that class is going to slow down in your mind. See, it also has the opposite effect. It could slow it down. And it's all about managing that stress to the point where it doesn't affect your perception of time. Because as soon as it starts to affect your perception of time, the stress is starting to control how you act. So maybe those days that it goes really long, maybe you're stressed out about something you have to do after school. So therefore, it doesn't go as long as you want, so then you have to do the thing you're stressed out about. Because when you're stressed, you forget about all the time that you're not doing the thing that you don't want to do because you're too busy thinking about it. So you forget that time. It's like a time lapse. And the last thing I want to say about using your time most efficiently is don't live with regret. Because you made that decision, you got to own it. I quit basketball. It was the only physical sport I actually liked to play, and play like full-heartedly, not just like soccer. I'll go to a pickup game. I'm not gonna play in a league. Basketball's the only thing I actually wanted to play on a team and actually have practice and all that stuff. But then I got bored of it, so I quit. Some people thought that there was something wrong. Maybe I was being bullied on the team. Maybe I wasn't getting enough playing time. No, I was just done with it. I had spent as much time as I wanted to playing basketball. Then I was done. I didn't like doing it anymore, so I stopped. Started filling my time with something else I like to do. I don't regret not quitting basketball. Not at all. I don't regret quitting soccer because we all know every little kid plays either soccer or baseball. I quit both of those. Baseball I didn't really like. And soccer, I was done with it. I had my time and it was fine. It's the same thing with whenever you move. It's pretty much just, well, you don't like living there or you can't afford it, so you got to change it so you have minimized stress about that particular place or about that particular situation. Now, these are all my personal opinions. I want whoever watches this in the comments section, if you disagree, I want to know what you think about time. How do you use it? How do you think it should be used? Do you think we have enough or do you think we should have more? Because really, when you think about it, we could change how much time we have. It's just the fact that it's standardized by the world that it feels like it's so short because it's not your time to create. It's already been created for you. And that's all I have to say about time. So leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to hear more of my lovely voice and want to hear more about topics maybe you didn't really think about too much in the past. And hopefully you enjoyed. And this has been Storm Rider 36, and I'm done.